Hey there and welcome back to our channel. On this channel, we discuss mental health with a special focus on borderline personality disorder and dissociative identity disorder. I'm Shell. I am the host of our DID system. And a little while ago, we had a friend mention that we should do like a week in the life of living as a system. And we never did it because our life is pretty boring and we didn't think that would want to be something that people would be interested in watching. But then we were thinking about it and we were like, maybe that's kind of a reason to film, to show that like living with mental illness isn't this like extraordinary thing. You know, we work, we sleep, we eat, we parent, and it's not, you know, something that is beyond the ability to see that people can live like that. So that's what we're going to do this week, is we're going to go ahead and film the week, and hopefully it's not too boring. Hey, it is Monday morning. This is Shell. I have been in the front since Thursday, which is kind of a long time to not switch. I was actually talking to a friend about the fact that I hadn't switched since Thursday, and he was like, that's a long time for you to be in the front and not switch, which is really funny because like when I first found out about the system, I thought that we didn't switch very often just because I would get amnesia about the switches. And now that we record our switches for the most part, I'm realizing that we actually switch a lot more than I realized. But I am exhausted and I'm wondering if that's from being in the front so long. Yeah, it's Monday. I've been working. My son is back to school after a week off, so we're getting back into the routine of things. I'm just hoping that I get a break from the front soon. I could use the rest. And it's freezing. It is so cold. I turned my heater on for the first time this season. So I don't know. I don't like being cold, but I don't like being hot either. So it's really hard to find like the 70s is like a good temperature for me. So yeah, I'm cold and I'm tired. But we're still here. Hey, it's Shell, but a different Shell, not the host. And we are going to be going to pick up our son pretty soon here. V was out a little earlier, but she hates fronting during the workday, so I think that's probably why she didn't stay out very long. But yeah, it's been a pretty quiet day, just getting through the workday. It'll be a bit noisier and now that our son will be home. But yeah, off we go. It is Veronica and we are officially off of work. I fronted for probably like the last half hour of work, and by then most of our work for the day was done, so I lucked out on that one. However, as usual, they've left me a sink full of dishes, so I guess I will be washing dishes. Let's see what's on the docket for tonight. Dishes, cooking dinner. There's a couple different things we need to do. We need to transfer some of our data on our phone to our external hard drives so that we can free up space to keep filming. There's a video that we need to edit. We're like a week behind on schedule with that. And then also we need to do our planner for the week, because we filled out the December stuff and haven't done the weekly, so we have been wanting to film our monthly setup just to give an idea of what it looks like and our process for setting it up. But we have realized we don't have the equipment that we need to be able to do it. So it's probably going to be a couple months before we're able to actually do that video, because we have to wait until we can afford a different kind of tripod, and maybe look into how other people rig their cameras to like see what it is that you're doing on a table. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna be doing dishes now. Hey, it's Shell, and it's our lunchtime. I've been in front all morning. I had a really bad night last night. Sometimes I don't know whether my reactions are understandable to the situation or if it is my BPD. So like last night, Veronica was fronting, and she is very social. She's a lot more social than most of us. And so she doesn't like spending a lot of time alone. So she was reaching out to people, to try to like talk to somebody, and nobody was available, which is a huge trigger for me. Like, even if it's not me that it happened to, like, me and Veronica are part of the same whole. So like, if it happens to her, it kind of happens to me too. And so it just felt like as a whole, we were being abandoned by the people that we were trying to reach out to. And that sent me into a spiral, as it does, because it triggers my fear of abandonment like really bad. And I start to question my relationships because sometimes I feel like other people expect me to be on call for them. So like if they need me, I always respond, but I feel like that's never reciprocated. And I also feel like when I don't put myself out there very much. I don't talk to people very much about the things that I'm dealing with because I don't want to be a burden. And I've learned that if you want to keep people around, you have to be as unproblematic as possible. So that means not going into too much detail about the things that are bothering me. And especially because, things are tough right now. Everybody's going through something. And I don't want to burden the other person with my issues when they have their own stuff going on. But again, it feels like nobody makes that consideration for me. I am there for people. I get the bulk of the things that are bothering them and I help them. I listen. And don't get me wrong, I like being that person. I like being the person that people can come to. I like being the person that people are comfortable enough with to share those things. I just wish that it was reciprocated more often. And I don't know if it's something that I'm doing. If I'm doing something wrong in my relationships so that I feel like I'm not being supported or I feel like things are unequal or imbalanced. And it's kind of like, I don't know if it's something that I'm doing, or I don't know if there's something about me that just makes people not feel the need to check in with me. I think a lot of it has to do with I'm considered high functioning for most of my diagnoses. I've got a lot, but I'm still able to maintain a job. I'm still able to parent my son. But it's all how it looks on the outside. It's never what people see is not what's actually going on. And I think that maybe that is part of it, is that I look like I have my shit together. So people don't ever think that anything might be bothering me. And I don't know how to fix that because I feel like I will try to put myself out there and I will try to, because I know if I don't tell people that something's going on, I can't expect them to know. But then sometimes I'll put myself out there and I'll say like something's going on and I get ignored or disregarded, or the subject gets changed and it becomes about them. And
all it does is it proves to me that like what I'm going through isn't important. And so I stopped sharing, and the cycle just repeats itself. And I've been talking with my therapist about it, but I still don't know how to fix it. It's funny because, you know, there's that joke that goes around the community that like, oh, people always say, oh, at least you're never alone when they find out you have DID. But no, it's still pretty lonely. It sucks when the only people you can talk to are essentially yourself. And they can't provide physical comfort, you know. We can't hug each other. I can't lay my head on somebody's shoulder, only in the headspace, but not in physical reality. I don't know. I don't think there's really a point to this ramble except to kind of get it off my chest, because I really feel like I just don't have anybody to talk to. And I think that I put out this image that I've got it all together and I'm doing just fine, when that's not really what's going on. And I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I guess I just needed to get it off my chest.
Hey, it's Shell. It's Wednesday. We are currently on our lunch. Feeling a little bit dissociated, so we'll see how long I stick around. But I've been fronting since last night. It was a rough night last night. My son had a doctor's appointment, and not to go into too much detail, but it didn't end on a good note. Like, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him, just some technical difficulties. So I was in a pretty foul mood. And then I had to come back, and because I'm at the sick time, because I use all of my sick time for bad dissociative days and usually run out by the middle of the year. So I'm out of sick time, so I had to make up for the time that we spent at the doctor's appointment, which meant I was working past 6 o'clock. And then when I went to order our dinner, I ordered the wrong thing, and it was like so many things going wrong. But I did get to talk to my mom, which had been a little bit since I talked to her, so that was good. Today I was supposed to go to dinner with a friend, but she's sick, so I'm kind of bummed about that, but I'm still feeling better than I did yesterday, so that's a good thing. Hey, it's Ariana. I'm over here cooking dinner. I've been out for about an hour. Veronica was out a little earlier, and then we had a phone call from a friend, and this particular friend is a trigger for Shell, so she kind of popped through a bit, but Brittany also popped through. So they were doing this, Brittany and Shell do this weird thing where they like switch back and forth. Like, I don't know if that's considered co-fronting or what, but they're the only two that do it. And then I came out. I don't really know what triggered me out. Maybe it was because we were thinking about dinner, and I'm like, I would love to front more to cook dinner. So that's what I'm doing right now. Nothing fancy, just some seasoned chicken and some rice. It's V. Let's see. Okay, Ariana was cooking dinner. She's gonna be so mad that she got pulled back during dinner. We don't know what triggers us. Like, and we've been trying to be better about tracking switches so we can try to figure out, like, is there a specific time of day? Is there, like, you know, some kind of positive trigger? Because it happens even when we don't necessarily feel like we're that stressed. But, like, I don't know. So we were talking to our friend about it, about how we don't control our switches and we don't know what the triggers are. And he was like, oh, well, wouldn't it be cool if you guys could do that? And I'm like, yeah, that's what therapy is for. So hopefully someday we'll be able to get it figured out and have some more control over the switches, because like honestly, switching is exhausting for the body. If the more that you switch in a day, the more tired the body is. But the flip side to that is if somebody is front stuck, then they get more mentally exhausted. So it's like you can't win. No matter what, you're just going to be exhausted if you have DID. It's just chronic exhaustion. So yeah, I'm going to finish cooking this dinner and hope Ariana's not too mad. Hey, it's Shell. It is Thursday morning, a little after 8 o'clock. We just got back from dropping our son off at school. Got to get back to work soon. Yesterday was a much better evening, thankfully. And unfortunately, I missed out on an opportunity for overtime at work because I had to get off on time so I could cook dinner. Routine's really important for my son, so I try to have dinner ready by 5 every day. So I'm hoping they'll offer overtime again tonight because I'm ordering dinner, so I'd be able to actually put in the extra hours. So fingers crossed. Hey, it's Veronica, and we just finished eating. No overtime today, so boo. I guess, well, I came to the front, and of course there was a full sink of dishes, so I did dishes. There is always a full sink of dishes when I front. I'm like the only one who ever does the dishes. Drives me crazy. But for the rest of the evening, I've got a video to edit, which I'm kind of excited about because it is our Gatekeepers Meet the Ultras video. And we did not think that we were going to get a video from him. So I'm excited to look through it and edit it and post it. After that, I've got another script to finish editing. And we'll see after that. It depends on how long I stay in the front. Hey, it's Shell, and it is Friday morning. Just got out of the shower, which our hot water like never got above warm. So not the greatest shower, but at least it wasn't cold water. I made some tea because it feels like we might be getting a bit of a throat cold, so I'm trying to stave that off. Last night we did not end up getting any of the things on our list done. I think we realized by early evening, we remembered, oh right, our son was up at 3 a.m. in the morning and we are exhausted. Don't know how that slipped our mind, but there it is. So I'm hoping that today after work, we will have the energy and mind capacity to finally get some editing done. I keep coming up with ideas of things I want to do and have no energy or motivation to actually get them done. But until then, we have a therapy session coming up in a couple of hours. Got to get some work in before that session, and hopefully it won't be too tough of a session this week. Hey, it's Shell, and I just got done with our therapy appointment today. And strangely enough, I didn't switch right after the appointment. Usually what happens is whoever is in the appointment, like towards the end, there's like a switch coming on and we have to like fight the switch until the appointment's over, and as soon as we turn the phone off, the switch happens. And this is like almost every appointment. And so it's interesting that today I was able to get through the appointment without switching. We talked about a lot of things that have been on my mind. Something that I talked about earlier this week with relationships and how I show up to friendships, and questioning what my role in my own loneliness is. And I think that we definitely pinpointed like I know where the loneliness comes from. I know where that fear of abandonment comes from. And I think that one,
I show up to relationships with the end goal being that they don't leave. And so that means that I do everything within my power to make sure the other person stays. And that a lot of times looks like abandoning myself, because I'm afraid that if I demand too much from the other person, or demand anything really, that they are going to walk away. So I end up giving and giving and giving, and not giving the other person a chance to give either. And my therapist pointed out that I show up to relationships as like a fixer. I go in and like, it's my job to, any issues or problems that they're having, like I can be the person to help them with that. And I think that also sets up a one-way relationship and doesn't give the other person the opportunity to be there for me. And I don't know what to do to change that. It's so deeply ingrained in me. It's how I grew up. But my therapist says that like, we're going to be digging deeper into this and looking at this more. So, you know, maybe I will get to a place where I can have healthier relationships and not fear abandonment so much. I feel like if I could get through that, a lot of the challenges that I face interpersonally would go away. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, at some points it was tough, but not too bad of an appointment today. And pretty impressed that we didn't switch.
Hey, it's Veronica. We had like a really smooth switch a little bit ago, like the kind where you don't really notice that you switched until all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, I'm Veronica and I'm fronting. Okay, when did that happen? And I just wanted to touch a little bit about what Shell was talking about before when it comes to like relationships and friendships and things like that. I think she sometimes, for the longest time, she thought that what was wrong with her was just borderline personality disorder, right? I mean, along with other things, but like the biggest struggle was the BPD. And so that framed the way that she looked at things. And so when she's looking at relationships and friendships, she's only looking at like her attachment style and how she shows up in relationships, but she forgets that she comes with like 20 plus other people as well, and that can influence the way that she's interacting with people, because like we often have to mask as Shell, because I mean, even with our friends that do know we have DID, we always feel like we've like disappointed them when we switch. Like for some reason, it just, the feeling changes when we switch and let them know that we've switched. And so we've kind of stopped doing that just because it wasn't making us feel great. So we still mask as Shell, but even though our behavior is going to look like Shell, our thoughts and feelings are still our own. And so sometimes it can be that one of us feels a certain way about the relationship, and then another one of us feels a different way. Or like, for example, me, I get in trouble all the time for like being too open and sharing too much information with other people. But like Ricky is like a locked door. You can't get anything out of him except whatever you did to piss him off. So if Ricky's influencing, then we're going to be a lot more standoffish towards the other person than we normally would be. If Cameron's the one that's influencing or fronting, then we're going to be, we'll be more friendly than with Ricky, but Cameron still is very protective of the information of the system and is very careful about the things that he shares with other people. And then most recently, like if Ariana is the one fronting, she is basically concerned about our physical safety. And she can be a bit abrasive. And so she too can be a little more standoffish with people than we might like normally be. So I think like these are other things to take into account when it comes to friendships and relationships, especially as the DID system, is it's so complicated because it is like being friends with 20 different people, but we feel like we have to pretend to all be one person. And so it makes things really complicated because from the outside, we look like we're just one unique person. And so when people interact with us, that's how they see us. But really, we are a collection of different parts that have our own ways of doing things and our own thoughts and feelings and opinions. And it can make maintaining relationships really difficult, and can actually even breed resentment among some of the alters, because some of us feel like we're not as well liked as others. And it really sucks when you feel like you have to hide who you are. And that's what not being the host feels like sometimes, is that we have to hide who we are. And it's going to color the way our relationships work, because it's going to complicate relationships. And the other thing that comes with it is the amnesia. So we could have had a conversation, like for example, Cameron could have had a conversation with somebody where that person did, offer, if there was anything we needed to talk about, and Cameron's going to be very shut about those types of things. And so he probably would steer the conversation so that, no, we don't need any support. And then Shell comes out, she doesn't remember that conversation happening, and now she feels like she's not supported because somebody else has already stated we don't need the support. So it's messy. And I think that, one, we need to come together as a system to figure out how we want to manage our relationships going forward, because as it stands, we've been kind of defaulting to whatever Shell is doing. And I think that we're not happy to do that anymore. So we need to reevaluate how we're going to show up going forward. Hey, it's Brittany, and I am fronting for the first time in a while. It's so weird because I used to front almost every day, and now I'm lucky if I front once a week. DID is so weird. I don't understand our brain and why it has the alters front the way that it does, but that is what it is. I'm currently cooking dinner, or attempting to. We're gonna see how it turns out, because my hams are stuck together. So I'm hoping that cooking them like this is going to defrost them enough to separate so that I can cook them properly. So wish me luck. Hey, it's Brittany again, enjoying a glass of wine. Cheers to Friday. I'm so ready for the weekend. And I just wanted to come on and say that yes, the ham did separate. It worked out perfectly. So I am so glad that I tried it. But I also wanted to give just a little hack, because, we're a single mom with a lot of mental health issues, and we work a full-time job. So a lot of times at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of energy. So for example, today, the meat that we were going to cook wasn't completely defrosted. That's why we did the ham steaks, because you can cook them from frozen. And we also had some leftover rice in the fridge. And I've been wanting to, or we've been wanting to, really, Shell has, been wanting to get better at using our leftovers. So we didn't want to make a new pot of rice because we had half a pot still made. But our son loves rice. So there was no way that this rice was going to be enough for 2 meals. So our son's meal was a ham steak with some rice, and our meal is going to be a ham and cheese grilled cheese sandwich, which I'm super excited about. It's going to be delicious. But yeah, just like little hacks to make life a little bit easier. Because making big meals for even a small family can be daunting. Good morning, it is Shell and it is Sunday morning. Completely forgot to film yesterday. Our son's playing games in the background as per usual. But didn't do much yesterday. Got some Christmas decorations up, got the tree up. I still need to go get some ornaments for the tree because all of my Christmas ornaments are still all the way across the country from when I moved. And I want to get some ornaments that are cat proof anyway, because I know the cats are going to be stealing ornaments off the tree, so I want to make sure it's stuff that's not going to break or hurt them. I then just spent most of the day laying on the couch watching TV, because I'm a mom. I don't usually get to sleep in on the weekends, so I take little snoozes throughout the day, and that's my version of sleeping in on the weekend. I am about to make pancakes, or attempted to. They didn't have gluten-free pancake mix at the grocery store, so I'm going to attempt to make gluten-free pancakes from scratch. So we will see how this goes. But yeah, it's Sunday. If I have the energy, I will go out and buy some Christmas ornaments. But if not, it'll just be a chill day at home. Hey, it's Brittany, and it is Sunday night, which means it is an end to our week of vlogging, our life living with DID. Today, we didn't end up going and buying Christmas ornaments for the tree, but we did get a lot of cleaning done. So not a waste of a day. I'm actually pretty proud of us for how much cleaning we got done. Definitely gonna hurt tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for joining us this week. I hope it wasn't too boring. We don't do a whole lot, but it just goes to show that living with mental illness is not something that's completely unbelievable. You can have a pretty boring life and just have a few bumps in the road along the way. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and stay well.